Hello and welcome to autoX. I'm Shivank, and this car, well, it doesn't need an introduction. This is the Maruti Suzuki Jimny. Now, I absolutely love this car. This is our long-term car. I've been using it for over a month now, and I think this is the most fun, entertaining, most characterful SUV under
Shivank?
20 lakh rupees.
Hi.
There's always one. You're here to interrupt my video, right?
Well, Manav couldn't be here, so I've been delegated the duties. And you sound like an obsessed fanboy. What's going on?
I just said this is the most fun, entertaining, most characterful SUV under 20 lakh rupees. And I bet you can't change my mind on that.
It's fun, it's practical. I don't know about the most part because have you considered all your options?
Are you talking about the Thar?
No, this is a family show. I have more options for you, and I think those can really change your mind about what an enthusiastic SUV is all about.
Tell me what are they?
Well, first and foremost, the Venue N Line. Now, out of all the cars, well, this one is probably made to be fun, and you just look at it. Like, it's meant to be quirky. It's
Yeah,
meant
I'm
to
looking at it. It's not an SUV.
yeah, it's not an SUV, but that's what they call it. So I'm going to call it that. But it has a peppy engine. It's fun to drive. But what I have next, that one's going to probably be a little more up your alley. The Taigun.
That's a great car.
Yeah.
But it's not an SUV again.
I mean,
It's a hatchback on stilts.
but I will probably smoke you when it comes to it because this gets a 1.5 litre turbo, 250 Nm, a 6-speed manual, and it's German engineering. I mean, what's not to like? And probably like looks the sharpest, and oh, I can't look at it anymore. Next, the new Kia Seltos. This
I haven't driven it.
You haven't driven it?
Yeah.
What are you saying?
What's special about it?
Well, it's really fast.
It looks just like the old one.
The engine is probably the best bit, and you should get inside. Like, this one is just pure luxury compared to all of these. And as I said, this is a family show. We do deal in practicality, and this is the most fun, easiest way to haul around the family.
Well, you know what? I think these are all great options, but I bet you can't change my mind on the Jimny because, yeah, the Jimny probably is not the most practical. It is a little pricey. But what is an SUV? We are in Haridwar right now. We are in Uttarakhand, in fact. And you've got winding roads, you've got off-road patches, you've got highways. This car can tackle everything. All these cars, well, yes, they are great fun on the road. And fun is not just sporty handling and all that. Fun is also about how the car makes you feel. So I think in that respect, the Jimny is the best. I don't know how you'd change my mind. So what have you got in mind?
Well, first of all, I don't think anyone in India knows what an SUV is. That's why we're getting all these cars. But I have planned probably a day out with all these cars. You and I go out, we drive each of them. And let me just show you what all the fuss is about, what the enthusiasts like. This, I'm not sure about it. So that's why I need to probably make up my mind about this as well. But in the process, we're going to come up with a winner.
Okay, so what we are going to do is I'm going to drive all three cars back to back with the Jimny. Then you have a go in the Jimny, and I'm sure I'll change your mind before you do.
You're on. So Shivank, welcome to the Venue N Line, the performance SUV for the masses. What do you think?
Well, first of all, you say performance, and
Yep.
it's sporty and all that, but I think it has the same engine, that
Yep.
1 litre engine that the standard Venue gets.
Correct.
118 bhp thereabouts, 1 litre
Yeah.
3-cylinder, right?
Yeah.
And this comes with the DCT. There is no manual transmission in a fun car. I mean, I'm just saying,
Yep.
I'm not saying it has to be there,
Yeah.
but there's no option.
Yeah. They haven't
So,
given.
yeah, they haven't given. So, I mean, it is a mild sort of
Yeah.
upgrade.
Lukewarm.
Yeah, exactly. So,
And I mean, like, what it has going for it is Hyundai has tuned the suspension, Hyundai has tuned the steering wheel. So it's a bit more fun to handle, and it gets shiny bits outside. And I think that they've done more than a lot of manufacturers, and that I feel credit where credit's due. They've done something right.
I mean, yeah, so see the Venue N Line, Hyundai says that the suspension is 30% stiff or something like that. The steering wheel, they have definitely worked on it because we were just driving the standard Venue, right, a couple of days ago, and that has a dead steering wheel. So it definitely feels more, I'd say, meaty in the sense, more, it has some sort of feedback. It feels a little stiff in that regard. So you feel there is some sort of feedback coming from the wheel. It definitely feels nicer. These paddle shifters are also very nice. They're chunky, big units. And overall, I'd say, in terms of design also, this car, yes, they have given it a bright blue color, red accents. It has very sporty interior as well. So yeah, they have done a lot of updates in that.
And they've updated the exhaust as well. So
I mean, see the exhaust. We are driving the car right now. It's something you hear on the outside.
Thrummy.
Yeah, in the inside you don't feel it. And the problem is, you know what, is that this 3-cylinder engine, it is a little thrummy. It is not refined. It feels very coarse in that sense, right?
It is.
And it doesn't enjoy being revved. It is. I mean, it doesn't like to be
You understand
crashed.
that it's made for a purpose, and that purpose is not to go fast.
Yeah, I mean, see, I think Hyundai has done a great job in the sense, you know, they have given a stiffer suspension and all that, blah, blah, blah. Great stuff.
Yeah.
But I think the letdown in this car is the engine, and that for me, I think, is a big downer because, you know, the powertrain somehow is not enjoying like what you are asking it for. And the other problem that I see, of course, the gearbox is a little dim-witted in that sense. It doesn't downshift. But yeah, the paddle shifters are nice and they are quite responsive.
It's to get you from A to B faster. You know,
Yeah,
it's like, if I have to use an analogy, it's that uncle who drives an auto every day but likes to talk about F1 and fast cars. You know, he's fun to talk to.
I'd say, yeah, it's definitely. I think this, of all the cars here, apart from the Jimny, I think this has a little more personality. It definitely stands out. It has that sort of attitude that, you know, it is N Line, Hyundai N Line, they're making great cars worldwide. So it has that sort of DNA. It's not just a cosmetic update, that's for sure. And of course, if you're an enthusiast, you definitely enjoy driving this car. I think, personally, it has a little bit of personality for sure. But for me, I'd still say, in this comparison or under 20 lakh rupees, it is top 5 fun SUVs, but it's not the best car in terms of fun and entertainment.
I mean, to be honest, I would have preferred like the N Line treatment on the Kia Sonet.
Probably.
You know, that would have been a probably much more competent package. But as it is, as it stands, it makes it onto the list because Hyundai tried. They did give us a package which can be fun if driven the right way. It's a 1 liter. So the 1 liter 3-cylinder, like I feel like you have to wring it out to get best out of it, and the mileage definitely goes for a toss.
I think the great part about the N Line is that it doesn't feel out of place when you are using it as a daily, right? It has all the good bits, the comfort, the space of a regular Venue, but it has that N Line personality. So again, coming back to the point, fun and entertaining, yes it is, but it's not the most fun and most entertaining.
So I've not proved my point yet, and you still prefer the Jimny over the Venue N Line.
Yeah.
Okay, so next one, the Volkswagen Taigun. Well, okay then. Let me introduce you to a proper competitor to the Jimny. In terms of fun, of course. That is the Volkswagen Taigun. I think this should speak for itself much better.
Well, yeah, I think this is a great car. I absolutely love this engine, this 1.5 DSI Evo engine, 148 bhp. It is a kick-ass engine.
And you spoke of manual, I got you a manual.
Yeah, this is a manual, of course. And you know what? This is a fun car. You enjoy driving this car. It is not, like I said in the beginning, it's not an SUV. It's a hatchback on stilts, a hot hatch, you know, on stilts. Because, and I always consider the Taigun to be that because it feels like a hatchback. The handling is brilliant. You know, the way it feels, the way it drives, it is like a typical Volkswagen, a German product. And it stays glued to the road. None of the other cars can match this car for the road feel, the planted feel that this gives you. The road hold, right? This car is brilliant in that sense.
Whole added aspect that this is the fun car to be in. It's tall. What that means is you get to enjoy this in much more wide variety of applications.
Yeah, it's again, it's a hot hatch. I'd say if you are a Polo fan, Polo was probably the first sort
I
of,
am,
you know,
yes.
a great hatchback, and this has the same sort of genes, but it's grown up in the sense it has got a bigger engine, more powerful engine,
Yeah.
right? So if you're coming up from hatchback, you can look at this car. This is performance oriented, and at the same time, it's a Volkswagen, so there is great tuning potential as well, right? So I think for Volkswagen fanboys and for anyone who enjoys driving, I think this car definitely does the trick.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a definite step up from the Venue N Line in terms of how it drives, in terms of how it feels, and of course the price as well. But you know, like you pay for what you get for. Like it is solidly built. Like as soon when you shut the doors, when you drive the car, even the way you hold the steering wheel, it just feels so nice.
But you know what? Okay, I'd say coming back to the rankings,
Yeah.
this is the most sportiest SUV,
Yeah.
under 20 lakh rupees for sure. Most fun in that sense, of
Yeah.
course. But as an overall product,
Yeah.
overall SUV, I think, like I said, this is not an SUV, this is a hatchback. To me, it's a hatchback,
Yeah.
right? So, for me, it doesn't justify that
Yeah.
SUV tag. So,
Yeah.
it's not the sort of car that you'll be comfortable taking on the rough turf, even if it means you're going through bad roads.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, the ride quality is nice, whatever. But there's a Volkswagen, this is more sort of refined in that sense. You can't really abuse this car, I think.
But in terms of suspension, if we're talking about suspension, I think this is the best balanced.
I think, yeah, the great part about this suspension setup is that it feels perfect for everything. When you're pushing it in the hills,
Yeah.
it has got ample grip. It just goes.
Yeah.
It has that bitey nose, bitey front end. The steering is also very nice, and it feels like it's pushing you to drive fast to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right? It eggs you on to be, you know, a nuisance behind the wheel. That's what I'd say, because there's no way with this manual transmission and this engine you're going to drive it slowly or leisurely. There is
Yeah.
no way. You're going to be on the go all the time. You're going to be extracting the maximum performance. And this engine and gearbox, as opposed to the Venues,
Yeah.
it enjoys being thrashed. So
Yeah.
you can just hit the red line at 6,700 RPM or thereabouts,
Yeah.
and it goes there, it sings and dances. And for me, I think that's what makes this Volkswagen a kick-ass proposition in the sense it is probably the most fun, maybe more fun than the Jimny on the road for sure, 100%. But as an overall,
But also one more thing before we sum up, for the kitna deti hai crowd out there, this has cylinder deactivation.
yeah. But
So-
again, see, the problem is I've used this car as
Yeah.
my long term.
Yeah.
I used to drive it everywhere. But the problem is you have to be really gentle.
Yeah.
Like you have to be cruising at 80, 90 on the
But it
highway.
doesn't feel bad being
Yeah,
gentle.
yeah, exactly.
You know, so like you
But
don't mind it.
but the problem is because there is so much performance in store,
Yeah.
it's really hard
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like. There's an open road.
It's a hooligan in like tuxedo.
It just it wants to be thrashed. I mean, I am a fan of this car, but why I don't love it is that it feels a little too serious. In the sense, I become a little too serious. I am always going for it, and I'm always in that racy mood. This is a racer boy's car.
Yeah, yeah.
And
You just switched off TCO, by the way.
yeah, I think I mean, of
You,
course,
you
I-
told me by mistake. That's
Yeah.
not. I don't feel by mistake.
But yeah, I mean, it is the sort of car that I don't want to be talking to you right now. I just want to just go for it, you know, just roll through the gears. And this is what this car feels. It's got great balance. It has got great everything. But I think this car, I've lived with it for over a year. That was the DSG. That also I love. That gearbox is kick-ass.
Okay. Like so, basically, does this come closer in terms of fun factor to the Jimny?
Yeah, I think this is totally different vibe, totally different appeal.
Yeah.
This is a car that someone, like I said, I think you'll probably relate to it more because you are into tuning. You know you want your cars to perform. I know you,
Yeah.
the sort of guy you are, right? So
I like hot hatches.
Yeah, hot hatches, or you're not the sort of guy who will be okay with
just-
roly-poly suspension and the car
just-
rolling around, body roll. You want to be serious with performance. I think you can't beat the Taigun. So overall, of course, a great car, great package.
Cool.
But yeah, for me, it'll be till now.
Yeah.
It's number 2 in comparison to the Jimny. Still
Okay.
not the winner.
So I still haven't convinced you.
Yeah.
So Shivank.
You know what? Before you start,
Yeah.
I have to tell you something.
Okay.
Between you and me only,
Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah.
So the moment I sat in this car after driving the Jimny,
Uh,
that was the first time that I kind of questioned my priorities.
I knew it.
And I'll tell you what, the thing with this car is, it feels so complete
Yeah.
in the sense, it has got the performance, that 1.5 turbo. It is a cracker of an engine, right? It has got crazy performance. The DCT transmission, okay, not as quick, but it's not like it's dull or it feels dim-witted like the Venues. It has got that punch. It's not as quick as the DSG of Volkswagen, but yeah, the gearbox is ready for the job,
Yeah.
right? And it's also got paddle shifters, so if you're in a mood to have fun, you can definitely enjoy this car. The other part is the refinement, right? The engine noise, yes, it's there, but it's very refined. It comes to you in a very refined manner. It doesn't shout or it doesn't feel coarse. Everything is up. So everything about this car is about refinement, the performance, the handling,
Yeah.
even the ride. It rides on 18-inch wheels,
Yeah.
but still, the ride
Sublime.
quality is a little firm,
Yeah.
100%. But I think overall,
Yeah.
in the large scheme of things,
Yeah.
this car does everything
Yeah.
fabulously,
Yeah.
right?
So the reason why this came on board is not a lot of people have money to buy two cars. This is probably the fun and family vehicle which they're going to have. You know, like they're going to take the family out. They're going to probably use it on the weekends for some fun activities. And the engine, the space, the features, the looks.
I think he has absolutely kicked it out of the park because it definitely appeals to you in the sense how stunning this car is.
Yeah, of course.
Right? And like you said, it's a very complete package overall. Yeah, it has got ADAS, it has got everything. Yes, this is the most expensive car here. This will breach the 20 lakh mark, I think, on road if you're going to buy this top spec DCT version.
Yeah.
But even then, I think it's 19.80 ex showroom. So technically, it is under 20 lakh rupees that way. But yeah, it is the most expensive, but it gives you a lot in return. For example, the Jimny automatic top end is around 17.5 lakh on road.
Yeah.
Small car, no space, nothing. This has got space. It feels like a luxury car inside. You know, after the Jimny, it feels like you have suddenly.
Like I'm a lot further apart.
Yeah, exactly. And even people, if they're sitting with you, they'll also enjoy, you know, the ride, because it's not that this car is not about me. It's not just me telling my family or my spouse or my kids that you have to live with this firm suspension. And coming to the fun part, yes, it definitely feels the most fun because you know why. It has an engine. If you don't have your children, if you don't have anyone around, you just go for it. And this engine has like this new Hyundai Kia engine 1.5.
Yeah.
It is.
It's on it. Yeah, it's much better than the previous outgoing 1.4 turbo.
Wow.
There are no children crossing the road.
And you know what the great thing about this car is, this SUV is that it doesn't feel dull to drive. It's the handling. It's not the sharpest tool, but it feels very predictable. There is grip, plenty of grip. It doesn't feel like it's not enjoying it. Even if you are driving in the hills, we push it around bends. The steering has decent feedback. It has that heft, right? And the brakes are also nice. Nobody cares about how many G's you pull around a corner, right? It's all about having fun. Your car is planted. You are feeling confident about it. And I think that's what fun is.
Alright, so now another reason why I think this is a more complete package is because it gets close to the Taigun in terms of how it drives. I mean, look at how you're driving right now. And also, it gets close, it doesn't get close to Jimny, but it has a mild off-road potential because it does get snow, mud and sand modes, which optimize the gearing and the engine response to suit that.
And it actually works, you know, like if you're driving in mud, it definitely kind of alters the throttle response and all that. I think this does a very decent job. The ride is a little firm, and I am not sure about, of course, the 18-inch wheels because you are going to damage the wheels in India. Yeah, in the larger scheme of things, it definitely feels the most complete car of this lot. And okay, I know what you're going to ask me, if it's number one right now. I'm not going to reveal that right now because I'm saving it up for the final verdict once we do that. And I also want you to drive the Jimny
Yeah.
so that we know what you
I'm
think
excited
of
to
Jimny.
get drive the Jimny.
Yeah, and I'm not going to interfere in between that.
Okay, cool.
Because you have driven all three cars, you have
Yeah.
brought these contenders. you
Here.
know. Yeah, of course. And you didn't bring them all alone, of course, we have a whole team. So in case people think that we are
Driving
into unsafe driving,
Or-
habits or something, practices. We're not doing that. We have
sort of
three more
Akshay
drivers.
Devgan type of.
Well, who's Akshay Devgan? Ajay Devgan. Anyway, so yeah, we are going to go back to the Jimny. You're going to drive it.
Yeah.
And I want to know what you feel and if that's the car you'd pick or what else would you pick from this lot. So
Alright.
let's quickly go back to the Jimny.
Let's go.
That's where we started, back to square one, and let's find out.
Well, so finally driving the Jimny. I mean,
Exactly.
finally. I think
I'm not going to say a word. You tell me what
Alright.
you think.
So I've waited years for this. I never got a chance to drive the two-door, and this is my first experience. I've had experience with the 1.5 with this transmission. What is like? Hold on, I just stepped back into the 80s. Like I feel like this feels.
Not 80s. 80s is going too far. 90s,
Okay, fine.
bro.
Yeah, okay, fine. The 90s. Like I feel like the analog dial with the LCD display, and just the way my gear lever is vibrating, and you see how high I'm sitting up right now.
Exactly. SUV.
SUV also a bit over the top.
The problem is,
I feel I'm going to fall out right now. So before I start off with the performance, let's just talk about like what you get in terms of offerings, because that I feel is my biggest issue with the money that the car is asking for. Like it's a lot of money.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a lot
this-
of money.
This,
And
click-
the whole
this comes
reason-
close to the Kia Seltos, and the Kia Seltos gets level 2 ADAS, drive modes, 2 screens. Like it's almost a spaceship in comparison.
I mean, I'd say, yeah, you're right. I think it's a little overpriced. It's at least, if not more, 1.5 or 2 lakh rupees
Yeah,
over
it should have been
what's justified,
right.
right? What's justified? I'm not saying like what should be the price.
Yeah,
I'm saying probably 15 on road for this version.
exact version. Yeah,
Yeah, but this is around 16 dual tone, manual transmission, automatic, like I said, goes up to 17.5 or 18 in some states.
yeah.
That's a lot of money for a car that's no bigger than what a Wagoner. It's not even
Yeah.
as spacious as a Brezza.
I mean, I can just look.
Yeah,
right here.
yeah.
I agree, it's light, but it does have a lot of equipment on board for the off-road.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as crude or
Yeah, but
outdated.
it doesn't. But what I was getting to was that you kind of do have to push this engine and gearbox hard in order to get the best out of it.
Yeah,
And-
you have to really thrash it.
Yeah. There's no other two words
and
about
the other problem that it technically revs, it loves to rev.
Yeah.
But in this application, where it's an all-wheel drive or right now it's rear-wheel drive, there is that drivetrain loss as well,
Yeah.
right? The gearbox is also short gearing. So anything above 80,
I just
it can
went
do.
for sixth. There is no sixth.
There is no sixth gear, of course. And the gearing is very short, so that's
Yeah.
why you always think that, where is the sixth gear? But there's no. I think you do 100 kilometers per hour at 3000 RPM,
Yeah.
right? And after 4000 RPM, the car starts to feel like, it's not enjoying it. It feels stressed. And the problem is
Keeps you on your toes.
All the cars, all the mass market cars are now turbos or they are light, right? So they have that sort of performance that this feels a little slow.
Yeah.
It feels like how do I say it? I mean, it's not that it can't do that sort of speed,
Yeah.
right? Yesterday I was on the highway and I was doing 100, cruising at 100. It felt all right. I mean, I can live with
Yeah.
that. The only thing is probably it's adequate performance, but of course, once you drive the competition, once you drive what's being offered at the same price point,
Yeah.
then you feel, of course, this is a little outdated
Yeah.
in terms of powertrain options, especially on the road. But now, why I say this is the most fun, most entertaining, and I think this has probably the biggest personality of
Yeah.
all the other cars,
Yeah.
because, dude, you drive it and you feel so cool. It is so special. It looks kick-ass. It has that old school charm. It looks like a mini G-Wagon, but it has an identity of its own.
Yeah.
And the great part about this car is whenever you're behind the wheel, you're always smiling. You're relaxed. In a sense, you're enjoying the drive.
Yeah.
But like in the Volkswagen, you're not really always, charged up that, oh, I have
On
to
the
take
boil.
take that corner at 100, 80, whatever. But the moment you take it off-road, it'll beat everything. Forget about these cars. It'll probably beat off-roaders double its price because the way it feels off-road.
Yeah. Its lightness.
Its lightness, the ride quality for a ladder frame SUV with live axle.
Maruti done a good job in that.
Yeah, I think the ride quality, you don't want to stop over anything, dude. Like there are bad roads, you're like, okay, I'll go over it. Like no problem, nothing will break.
You choose.
Yeah.
I was really happy about the fact कि मतलब I thought it wouldn't make me choose the bad roads, but it made me choose
And
the bad
you
road.
deliberately tend to go at a higher pace
Yeah.
because you're like, there's nothing going to happen to this car, right?
Yeah.
So you even go faster on trails. Even if you come across a bump, you just want to.
Did you notice a Hilux went by? We didn't look at it as well.
Yeah, and the Jimny, it turns a lot of heads, right? Everywhere you go, people look at it, and that's another great thing about the Jimny. You see, Maruti has sort of screwed up a little in terms of pricing, but that has also made the car more unique. Yeah, the Jimny, there is just one engine option, which is also outdated. So for a lot of people, when they realize, when you put logic into it, you're like, oh no, there is not much in this car, right? I'm not going to buy.
Yeah.
So this is a car that only an educated buyer or someone who's ready to compromise. I don't have to justify this purchase to anyone. Everyone will say, yep, your kids are, if you have kids, your kids are going to say, it's not spacious, it's not comfortable, it feels very crude, given, right? Your wife is going to say, there's no space, it feels bouncy, it's not practical, the boot space is not that big. Your in-laws can't fit in the car, they're not comfortable, it's tall, blah, blah, blah. Not justified. If you drive it every day, which I'm doing right now, the clutch is hard, right? To keep up with the traffic, it is a lot of work. The engine performance is not that great. The gear shifts are very hard, right? It's not typical Maruti gearbox. Fuel economy is not that great. I'm getting close to 11, 12 in the city, which for a Maruti Suzuki, which is not that powerful, it is bad, I'd say. It's
there's
not
no two
not
ways
great,
about it.
not terrible types.
No two ways about it.
Right. But it's basically, there is everything wrong with this car.
Yeah.
But man, I would not trade this for anything. And that's what I'm coming at, because the Jimny, I think, I don't even do off-roading.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go there and say, oh, I'm an off-roader, I love off-roading, this, that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to do that. Maybe I'll do it, it'll be fun. But it's purely how it makes you feel. It connects to you in that sense. And I think for me, it is one of those last, old school great cars. You're never going to see a car like this in 2 or 3 years' time. My hunch is that Maruti will probably discontinue it after 2-3 years.
So it's going to make you fall in love with it, and it's going to give you Stockholm syndrome. That's what it's going to do.
Yeah, actually, this car does that to you, because I think that's a
And you can't live without it.
You can't live without it. I mean, you definitely miss it. And you, honestly, like every time I'm driving the Seltos on the strip only, or the Venue, and especially in hills, this car rolls like crazy.
Yeah.
The steering, it needs a lot of effort. It's an arm twirling sort of contest sort of thing, because it just
hard,
requires, it's so much effort, it's so vague, and it rolls, it's not enjoyable in the hills. But you know what, every time I'm driving the Seltos or the Venue or the Taigun, which I'm enjoying more in terms of grip levels or performance and all that, but I look at the Jimny and I think, you know what, I want to drive that car because it looks so cool. And I enjoy that car, and just looking at it, I just enjoy it. So that's what I was thinking the whole time whenever you guys are driving the Jimny. I'm like, okay, cool, you know what, now it's time to swap cars.
Yeah.
But of course, for the sake of this comparison, I didn't drive this car on this comparison till now, right? I only gave you the wheel right now.
Yeah. So, I feel, okay, I'm not going to sum everything up, but you're still obsessed with the Jimny. There's no convincing you.
Yeah.
And which is fair enough. This is more than capable of just enjoying all your fancy right now. But we do need to get to a verdict. So I think we should do that right now. I think the sun's going down. It's been a good day. You're taking your job too seriously. It's time to give a verdict.
I think, yeah, I've been a little too confused. I was reflecting on life choices, but I think I've made up my mind.
Really?
Yeah, let's go closer to the cars and give the audience our final verdict.
Alright, this video has gone on for quite a bit now, and I think I'll make it easier. I'm just going to blurt out the names and he gives me a ranking of these 4 cars. Alright? 1, 2, 3, Kia Seltos.
Well, I think it's number 2 for me.
Alright.
It is the most complete fun car, and I think it still is the car if you want everything from your car, including fun. It is a great, entertaining car to drive, very involving.
1, 2, 3, Taigun.
I'd say it's a tie between the Taigun and the Seltos. I can't give it number 3 because I think this car does everything for me, because as an enthusiast, as a petrol head, this is the car I want to buy.
Yeah.
But of course, the Kia does exactly everything. I'd be very confused between these 2 cars. What's your pick between these 2?
I'll still take the Taigun. It just strums a lot of heartstrings, but the Kia Seltos is the more complete package. I'm just going to recommend that. This is what I'm going to have. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, Hyundai Venue N.
Well, of course, if those 2 cars are number 2, this is number 3. This is the last car in this comparison test. And that's because, of course, it's a great car, but it does feel a bit of a compromise overall.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, it has got a personality. It looks quite good. It has got loud color options. And I think overall, it is a sporty Venue. But at the end of the day, it's a Venue. So the engine, gearbox, they don't really excite me.
So you've left out one spot, which is number 1.
Well, of
So
course,
do not tell me we've taken all this time and we've still come to the Jimny being the winner.
Well, of course, the Jimny is the winner for me. It's not the perfect car, like I said.
Look into that screen and tell the audience you've wasted 20 minutes of their
Well,
time.
yeah, I think I still maintain that the Jimny is the car to buy if you are an enthusiast, if you want that old school charm from your car. I think the Jimny does everything. It is a below average car, like I said. Logically, it's not the car to buy, but I think it is very cool. It makes you feel very special, and every time you drive it, it is an occasion. Even if you are doing daily commute, even if you're not taking it off-road, I think the Jimny is still the winner. So Karan, you failed to change my mind. You wasted my time the whole day, right? We could have been doing a lot of driving, but we were shooting instead. So you failed to change my mind, but it would be worthwhile if I changed yours. So what's your final verdict? Because I'm interested to know, you thought the Jimny is a fanboy's car, but what's your verdict on the Jimny as compared to these 3 cars? And they're great cars.
So if the Jimny wasn't involved in this, well, the Taigun would have been my pick. But this really does have that niche, like, just aura, like it just draws you to it. You know, it just has all the right features at the right price. I think he has changed my mind.
Then it's not a waste of time, because the thing with the Jimny is it's not a great car. It's not just for fanboys. It makes you a fanboy. I think this is a car you think from your heart, and that's what it does. And as enthusiasts, as people who enjoy driving, I think, yeah, all these cars are great. These are top 4 cars, top 4 SUVs under 20 lakh rupees that you can buy to have fun. But the Jimny delivers fun in a very different, very non-dramatic way.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes cars great. You connect with the car. And I think that's what the Jimny does. And after a long time, we have had a car that kind
It's
of
a proper
pulls at your heart.
fun vehicle to have in your garage.
So that's the verdict. We know some of you might be disappointed, some of you might be shocked, some of you might, yeah, he's also shocked. Some of you may not like the verdict, some of you think there is something more to it. So let us know in the comment section what you think. Which SUV will you pick under 20 lakh rupees, considering you are an enthusiast, you love driving, and you want to connect with your car. So let us know in the comment section, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel.